ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. In this video, let us examine what is faith. See, the word faith is not something to be laughed at, because the entire world and science depends on faith. See, when you are in school, you study about the universe in science books. There is a statement in the science book that there are 9 planets which revolve around the sun. So you can't see those 9 planets and you can't see them also. So because you cannot explore and find the reality, the truthfulness of that statement, neither you can deny nor accept if you are really a sincere student. So, till you grow and explore yourself, duly finding the means to realize that truth, you have to pin your faith on the scientist who has discovered that truth. So, you can deny or accept that statement only when you grow, develop means to find out whether it is true or not, and only after finding yourself the reality, then you may accept or you may not accept. Similarly, in religious sphere also, there are truths uttered by great saints and sages and enlightened beings. You should not judge about the reality or otherwise of those utterances or statements about truth. See, the saints and sages have realized those truths which are beyond the capacity of an ordinary mind or ordinary man. So they are the truths which are beyond the physicality and beyond the senses. So unless you develop those faculties which are beyond the senses, and realize those truths. And if you have realized the truth uttered by the great saints and sages, and then only you can know yourself, realize yourself about the authenticity of that utterances. So, without inquiring, without going through the process of exploration, you cannot simply deny their existence or otherwise. So, one should not pass judgments about such truths out of ignorance, because unless somebody travels and realizes his own findings or his own realization, how can they simply say otherwise? So, it is very, very important to pin the faith on the utterances of the realized ones about the truth. But an ordinary mind, an ordinary man cannot go beyond the mind, beyond the sensory perceptions, which are very much necessary. I mean, to go beyond the mind and beyond the perceptions of the mind to realize the truth. Once a man realizes the truth, then he will be able to understand the utterances of the great ones, I mean the sages and saints and enlightened beings. So, normally when you embark on the spiritual journey, you get agitated at different stages because of the confusion you face in the journey on the path. So, in this connection, there is a beautiful happening which happened in Buddha's time. Ananda was a close disciple and dear disciple of Buddha, Gautam Buddha. So once it happened that he was, the Ananda was very much upset and agitated over an unsolvable problem. Some problem, unsolvable problem has arisen in his horizon. And so he got so much upset in spite of the hearing the teachings of the great master. So he began to doubt even the teachings of the great teacher. He was so much agitated and out of moods. So his master Gautama Buddha observed the disciples' behavior and he called Ananda. So Ananda came to Buddha. Buddha asked Ananda to play the music on veena, which is a musical instrument. So Ananda obliged, brought the veena. Ananda was a great musician. He could play very well that musical instrument called veena. So when he was about to play, there will be strings on that instrument. So he is trying to slacken the strings so that he can play well. At this point, Buddha said, slacken the strings still further. Then Ananda perplexed, because if he stretches and slacken the strings, he will not be able to play the music. So he obeyed and could not do it. Then again Buddha said, tighten the strings. So he has tightened the strings, and when he is trying to tighten the strings, Buddha said, still more, tighten still more. Then Ananda told Buddha, Master, if I tighten more, the strings get snapped and I will not be able to do anything to play the music. So at this point, Buddha told Ananda, now why I don't want to hear any music? I have made you to pass through these emotions to bring home a point to you. The mind is also like that. If you stretch it too far, it gets tensed. So you will not be able to think clearly anything. So for the key for clear thinking and problem solving is concentration. So the concentration comes only through coherence of thoughts. So unless that coherence is there, unless that balance is there, you will not be able to think clearly and arrive at any solution to the problem boggling your mind. So, Ananda, maintain that balance. When you maintain that, you will be able to find solution. So now a question comes. He is a great disciple of Buddha. Ananda was a great disciple of Buddha. When Ananda, that great disciple, could not control his emotions and went out of moods, what about the ordinary people and their doubts and confusions? How they will be able to handle? Here, the point is, you see, these moods, these emotions at certain times are very natural, because whatever the faith, in whichever manner you have developed, it will be tested. It has to be tested in reality. So, these are the games of the nature to test your faith. These moods, even great saints and sages have gone through this kind of a journey. So, when you, this journey, I mean this kind of imbalance of emotions, in spiritual terms it is called dark night of the soul. It's a dark night of the soul. So, it is necessary to pass through such situations in life, in whichever field one is placed or one is undergoing that kind of life. So, these moods, when this dark night of the soul descends on you because of the imbalance or the coherence, lack of coherence of the thought process, it is necessary that you should maintain silence within. When you maintain silence of the mind by whatever the means or the practices which you have learned and accustomed to, switch over either contemplation, inquiry, or whatever spiritual practices you are doing it, immediately you must resort and withdraw yourself to that meditations or practices, whatever it is, and then till you reach that stage of silence in the mind, please continue in that practice for some time. And then when you are settled, then the dawn appears, the new dawn appears after you undergo this dark night of the soul. So then when you experience the spiritual bliss personally and overcome in that stage, you'll be able to overcome whatever you have read and whatever has been taught by others to you. And when practical experiences, your own practical experience, replace the theoretical knowledge, that bliss, that spiritual bliss, you will be able to experience for the first time in your journey. So once you experience that spiritual bliss yourself, and there is no way to fall down from that state of realization. The spiritual progress accelerates from that first blissful experience of the truth or God or nature. So, for all this to happen and to begin your journey on the spiritual path, faith is a must, and faith is the fundamental requisite for a true seeker.